I would say that it was pretty inevitable that at the CNN debate we were going to get a question from the moderator asking Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders about their beef going on. Okay, so we have the video footage here. We are going to check this out. And I have to tell you that it is some very, very odd stuff that is going on here. So we are going to check this out.
Turn to an issue that's come up in the last 48 hours. Senator Sanders. CNN reported yesterday that, and Senator Warren confirmed in a statement that in 2018, you told her that you did not believe that a woman could win the election. Why did you say that?
Well, as a matter of fact, I didn't say it. And I don't want to waste a whole lot of time on this because this is what Donald Trump and maybe some of the media want. Anybody knows me, knows that it's incomprehensible that I would think that a woman could not be president of the United States. Go to YouTube today. There's a video of me 30 years ago talking about how a woman could become president of the United States. In 2015, I deferred, in fact, to Senator Warren. There was a movement to draft Senator Warren to run for president. And you know what? I stayed back. Senator Warren decided not to run, and I did run afterwards. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by 3 million votes. How could anybody in a million years not believe that a woman could become president of the United States? And let me be very clear. If any of the women on this stage or any of the men on this stage win the nomination, I hope that's not the case. I hope it's me. But if they do, I will do everything in my power to make sure that they are elected in order to defeat the most dangerous president in the history of our country.
So Senator Sanders, I do want to be clear here. You're saying that you never told Senator Warren that a woman could not win the election.
That is correct.
Senator Warren, what did you think when Senator Sanders told you a woman could not win the election?
I disagreed. Bernie is my friend, and I am not here to try to fight with Bernie. But look, this question about whether or not a woman can be president has been raised, and it's time for us to attack it head on. And I think the best way to talk about who can win is by looking at people's winning record. So, can a woman beat Donald Trump? Look at the men on this stage. Collectively, they have lost 10 elections. The only people on this stage who have won every single election that they've been in are the women, Amy and me. And the only person on this stage who has beaten an incumbent Republican any time in the past 30 years is me. And here's what I know. The real danger that we face as Democrats is picking a candidate who can't pull our party together or someone who takes for granted big parts of the Democratic constituency. We need a candidate who will excite all parts of the Democratic Party, bring everyone in, and give everyone a Democrat to believe in. That's my plan, and that is why I'm going to win.
Senator Klobuchar.
Thank you.
Senator Klobuchar, what do you say to
Thank
people
you, Elizabeth.
who don't? Senator Klobuchar, what do you say?
I would like
Running for Congress.
When?
1990. That's how I won, beat a Republican congressman. Number two, of course, I don't think there's any debate up here.
Wasn't it 30 years ago?
I beat an incumbent Republican congressman.
And I said I was the only one who's beaten an incumbent Republican in 30 years.
Well, 30 years ago was 1990, as a matter of fact. But I don't know that that's the major issue of the day. I think what the major issue of the day is, does anybody in their right mind think that a woman cannot be elected president? That's enough. Nobody believes that. If Hillary Clinton got 3 million votes, more votes than Trump. So who believes that a woman can't win? Of course a woman can win. But the real question is, how do we beat Trump? And the only way we beat Trump is by a campaign of energy and excitement, and a campaign that has by far the largest voter turnout in the history of this country. And I believe that our campaign has the strongest grassroots movement,
Thank
We
you.
have been endorsed by many
Senator
grassroots
Warren,
organizations.
Senator
That's why
Warren,
we
I
win.
want to give you the final word.
So I do think it's the right question. How do we beat Trump? And here's the thing. Since Donald Trump was elected, women candidates have outperformed men candidates in competitive races. And in 2018, we took back the House, we took back state houses because of women candidates and women voters. Look, don't deny that the question is there. Back in the 1960s, people asked, could a Catholic win? Back in 2008, people asked if an African American could win. In both times, the Democratic Party stepped up and said yes, got behind their candidate, and we changed America. That's who we are.
Vice President Biden.
All right, so look, this is horrible, okay? And the conclusion that I've come to is Elizabeth Warren is a complete snake. A complete snake. Okay, she's Bernie Sanders' friend, made up a quote about Bernie Sanders, then when asked what her thoughts are on the fake quote, and that's what's so weird about this, Bernie's like, no, I didn't say that. Everybody knows he didn't say that, including the sources from Elizabeth Warren, and yet she responds to it as if it's a real quote. And then she flips it to try to do this pandering bogus stuff, and like the whole, can an African American win? It was the question in 2008. Nobody has the question of whether or not a woman can win. A woman candidate just won the primary election. She won the popular vote in the last election cycle. Is anybody really falling for this pandering? Seriously, does anybody watch this pandering from Elizabeth Warren about this and feel moved about that? Like, seriously? And you're getting into territory where it's like, oh, now you're starting to say that we're better off with a candidate who's a woman, regardless of policy positions. It's about gender is the deciding factor. Does anybody really fall for this pandering? And also what I find that's fascinating as well is she's obviously trying to embarrass him there in their little awkward exchange that they had. She's like, what a friend Elizabeth Warren is. Elizabeth Warren is a trash can of a human being. But I should have known this. She's a serial liar. She's lied about everything since day one. She pretended to be a Native American for like decades. She released a recipe book called Pow Wow Chow or something. It was completely plagiarized. She's, she lied about her dad being a janitor. There's so many things that she's lied about at this point that I'm not really sure why it is that I didn't see this. But wow, Elizabeth Warren is a snake. She was a Republican into her 40s, okay? She cannot be trusted anymore. And what's clear that's going on is maybe there's some other corporate Democrat sources, Hillary Clinton, Obama, those people, right, who are in her ear now. Because what you saw there, she's talking about, we need somebody who can unite the party together. You know what she's saying? She's now trying to be like, oh, I can bridge all the centrist neoliberals in the party and the Bernie Sanders wing of the party. So she's basically saying, oh, Bernie Sanders can't get these, milquetoast neoliberals, I can. And so what it looks like is, she's good buddies with Hillary Clinton. They're friends. They're friendly. So maybe some of those peeps are in her ear. I really don't know at this point. But I'm very disgusted by what I saw there. And the question really is, what's going on with this pandering that's going on? Is anyone really going to fall for this pandering? I hope people see through this kind of nonsense, because this is how you lose elections, by talking about gender rather than policy. Not only that, but you literally made up a quote that implies that Bernie Sanders believed that a woman can't win. Okay, well, that's directly what she was saying. But it implies that he's a sexist, obviously, which is insanity. So you made up this quote. Now you're trying to, double down on it in this very passive-aggressive way. And then you're trying to embarrass him and all that. And she obviously had the prepared notes. Not that Bernie didn't have, prepared lines as well, to be fair. But I'm really, really disgusted by this coming from Elizabeth Warren. Their exchange was very tense and awkward, obviously, but I really did not realize how much of a snake Elizabeth Warren was. And I guess, I don't know if it's people in her ear. I don't know if she's just looking at poll numbers, fundraising numbers, and she's like, man, I got to do something. But man, this is not a good look for Elizabeth Warren. I feel really bad for Bernie Sanders. And if we get this sort of gender repeat that we got from 2016, I mean, you're going to lose the election once again. So again, Bernie Sanders is the candidate to vote for. He's the candidate to win. He polls best with independents against Donald Trump. So if we repeat this bullshit pandering, and you know what I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. And obviously, talking about elections that they ran that they lost, Warren's going to lose this time around, so it'll be one on her notch. And then Hillary's already lost 2 as well. So keep that in mind as well, for the whole women thing. But this gender pandering is absolutely disgusting.